This video will provide a step-by-step process for installing a partial ring of Nexen RPS gear segments using an alignment tool at every segment joint. When designing a system to use Nexen's RPS gear segments, it is recommended to include a reference diameter from which the gear will be positioned. Begin by placing the segments in position on the mounting surface. Loosely install 3 mounting screws in each gear segment, one on each end and one in the middle. At this stage, the segments should be movable by hand. The next step in the process is to install alignment tools at each segment joint. The alignment tools are custom designed specific to the segment's gear pitch and diameter. Position the alignment tool over the joint so the through holes align with the tapped holes in the segment, and the lobes are in contact with the tooth flanks. Thread the alignment tool mounting screws with plastic washers into each gear segment. Torque each screw to the recommended value while applying light pressure to maintain engagement with the tooth flanks. Next, torque the 2 set screws on each alignment tool to the recommended value. All gear segments are now connected and aligned with one another. Verify the entire arc is fully seated on the bottom mounting surface, while still being movable by hand. The next step is to initially position the arc in relation to the reference surface. Ideally, the final location of the segmented arc would be as close as possible to the nominal outside diameter of the tooth tips. Place shims between the entire arc and the reference surface to account for adjustment in upcoming steps. The thickness of the shim should nominally locate the segment tooth tip OD in relation to the central axis. Generally, the shim thickness will be between 1/1000th and 5/1000th of an inch, depending on the reference surface and segment stack-up tolerances. Seat the segments against the shims by pressing in towards the center axis of rotation. Next, remove the shims. With the segments in this initial position, the next step is to measure tooth tip runout of the entire arc. To do so, position a dial indicator such that it will not interfere with the alignment tools. While rotating the system, take 3 indicator readings on each segment, 1 on each end and 1 in the middle. Once the measurements are recorded, calculate the average value of the data. To achieve Nexen's RPS premium accuracy specification, the total measured runout should be equal to or less than 1/1000th of an inch. Operating the product 2 to 3 times outside of this value is not detrimental, but may result in lower accuracy performance and backlash. Segments can be adjusted towards the center axis using a clamping device over the tooth tips. Use a soft buffer material to protect the teeth from damage while clamping. While maintaining the dial indicator's position, adjust the initial measurement's location radially to achieve the calculated average value. Manually tighten the cap screw to lock the tooth's location. Note that using an automatic tool to tighten the screw may vibrate the system out of the desired position. Therefore, it is recommended to use a manual tool. Adjust the segment away from the center axis by gently prying out on an empty counterboard hole. Manually tighten the cap screw to lock the tooth's location. Repeat this process for each measurement along the entire arc. With each measurement position now adjusted, verify the total runout again over the same tooth tip locations. Repeat process as necessary to achieve desired runout. With the segments now within the desired runout specification, apply serviceable thread locker to the remaining screws Install into all the empty hole locations and manually tighten to full torque specification. Again, manually tightening the screws is recommended since the use of an automatic tool may vibrate the segments out of the desired position. Next, individually remove each of the initial screws used to locate the segments, apply serviceable thread locker, and manually reinstall to full torque specification. The Nexen RPS gear segments are now fully installed and ready for use.